We begin with the importance of your vote. Voting is a right. A right, it seems, used more sparingly in election years without people running for president or senate. In the elections, deciding local races and issues. Look at this. Fewer than 1 in 4 of the Metro's registered voters went to the polls this past Tuesday for the general election. In many cities and counties, the turnout was more like 1 in 10. Unofficial numbers from elections officials report turnout as low as 8% in some spots, the exception being Johnson County, which was more than 26%. Still, this is a far cry from what we saw last November. But these small groups of voters made some big decisions affecting your cities, your towns, your schools, and your money. If you live in Clay County, Missouri, for example, you should know the voters who showed up to the polls decided that you'll pay an extra $1 on your cell phone bill every month to fund the 911 system. The long-standing landline fee is going away since fewer people have them at home. And Kansas City, Missouri voters overwhelmingly approved a 10-year extension of a transit tax designed to raise hundreds of millions of dollars to keep the wheels moving at KCATA. But voters in Jackson County said no to a use tax designed to make money off of sales from companies outside the county. It would have been used on improvements for courthouses, roads, and homeless programs. And now local leaders wonder what the future could be for any other tax questions moving forward.
Well, look, I won't sugarcoat it. I think any tax proposal in Jackson County is going to have a lot of work to do. I think that people took a very strong hit this year in their property tax appraisals. And there are a lot of people, particularly as bills have been coming out, that are very unhappy with the taxes that they'll be paying.
The implication here being potential trouble the Kansas City Royals could face in the likely event they ask voters to renew a stadium tax to help fund plans for a new downtown ballpark. So there are a lot of questions coming out of Election Day. Let's discuss with KMBC 9 political reporter Michael Mahoney. First off, let's talk about these tax and fee questions. Any surprises here for you?
The scope of the defeat on the use tax that Mayor Lucas just referred to, I think is right on. He spells it out. You know, it's going to be tough for lots of reasons. Assessment, taxes in general, the economy, all of these things, and then compound that with the fact that the Royals and Jackson County and Clay County have struggled to get to a point where voters would know what's on the ballot. And then it's also complicated by the fact that the Jackson County and probably Clay County as well have to decide by the end of January if they're going to run a vote in April. Constitutionally, they got to let voters know that beforehand. So I think the mayor's right that you know it's going to be tough, and it does pose some obstacles for any Royals tax in the spring.
For sure. But then you see a tax like KCATA, which was an existing tax, and you know, as we talked about last week, those are harder to defeat. Stadium tax is here right now. Does that help it at all?
Yeah, it should, but at the same time, it's going to be viewed in a lot of people's mind as not renewing the tax that goes to the sports complex. It's going to be a tax for a new downtown ballpark or one in Clay County. So it doesn't have the whole cloak of an incumbency or a renewal tax that the ATA did. And the ATA, you know, has been around for a long time. This tax has been on the books for a long time, just like the stadium tax. But it is for an institution that will continue to function as it is, rather than very different dynamics on the stadiums.
Right, that's a good point. As we said, we saw low voter turnout, but more than expected in some spots. What stood out to you this time around when it comes to races?
I spent a lot of time on Tuesday night looking at the Prairie Village City Council races, where there was an entire slate of people that were running against City Hall, basically, and some of the incumbents, basically saying that the path where Prairie Village may go in the future in terms of trying to deal with housing and zoning, because it's a landlocked community, was real interesting. 4 of the 6 challengers won their races. It might end up being 5. So that was most interesting to follow. And you know, props to Johnson County. They had competitive races in school board races, city council races, and stuff like that. They ended up with a 26% turnout, which is not bad for municipal elections. On the Missouri side, it was 10 and 8% in Clay, Platte, and Jackson County.
Johnson County also had some conservative candidates being defeated pretty soundly in some of the big school districts like Olathe and Blue Valley as well.
Right. There was a slate, Moms for Liberty, and the National PAC 1776 that were supporting this slate of conservative candidates that were basically trying to capitalize on the national controversial issues of education, which also apply in Kansas, many districts, diversity, transparency, student curriculum, those sorts of things. And in Blue Valley in particular, where that conservative slate did not do well at all, they lost all their races. That's a progressive part of Johnson County anyway, and in particular the Blue Valley district. I think the patrons of that district like where their district is at.
Let's talk about a national issue, abortion rights. In Ohio, voters overwhelmingly approved a constitutional amendment protecting them. We know that there's a battle in Missouri to get issues onto the ballot here next year. What do you take from Tuesday night?
Well, there was a really interesting piece that came out the day after the election in the Cincinnati Enquirer that basically said that there were pro-life opponents that did everything that they could to try and keep that off the ballot. The same thing is happening here in Missouri, especially the Attorney General and the Secretary of State. Both Republicans have been challenging this in court. The proponents of any sort of constitutional amendment have until mid-May to get 170,000 signatures across the state. They wanted to start that this year. They haven't been able to do so yet, so their clock's running.
All right, to be continued. Michael Mahoney, thank you very much. Next, we'll be looking ahead to Commitment 2024 with coverage of key races and issues as they take shape. It's all on air and online at KMBC.com.